Ich bin ja noch ein wenig verwirrt, Leute. Und damit willkommen zurück. Denn es geht immer noch darum, irgendwie einen Schatz hier zu suchen. Ich bin ja davon ausgegangen, dass das doch nur dieser Salzkristall ist, weil der hat einfach so eine Macht letztendlich innehält, ne? Wenn man das Wissen mit der Welt teilt, dass es diesen Salzkristall so eben gibt. Und insofern bin ich wirklich etwas verdutzt, aber wir werden sehen, was sich da noch offenbaren wird. Zuvor seht ihr allerdings schon diese riesige 9 da unten. Wir haben so viele Charakterepisoden, aber wir werden natürlich nicht alle gleich am Anfang machen. Ich dachte mir jetzt, wir machen einfach mal 3 Stück, gucken dann, wie es weitergeht mit der Handlung und dann machen wir den Rest oder sehen wir mal, wie viel Zeit die brauchen. Und das hier klingt ja auch schon mal sehr gut. Der verfluchte Ursprung des blutbesudelten Schildes. Es gab einen guten Grund, warum er diesen Beinamen ablegte. Dann schauen wir doch mal Flanagans Backstory. Oder zumindest Details oder keine Ahnung. Ich bin gespannt.
Thank you for joining me in my training, Sir Flanagan. I've learned much from you. In truth, I'm grateful for any training at all. There are few of us Hawk Riders in Glenbrook.
Then let me thank you in turn for a chance to shake the rust from my bones. Seems my mount was keen to face such a worthy opponent as well.
'Twould seem they are hawks of a feather. Speaking of which, Sir Flanagan, I understand your regiment of riders was the Duchy's finest. Yet you chose to leave your homeland behind. Why?
I grew to see how powerless I was. I once believed the freedom Gustadolf espoused would bring prosperity to Esfrost. So I fought, and fought, and fought for the cause until my shield was stained blood red.
Hence your title, yes. To think how many lives you must have saved.
Do not mock me. I saved no one. Pride swelled my breast with every mention of that cursed title. But in a year's time, what did I return home to find? My poor wife, wasting away in solitude in the throes of an accursed plague.
Your wife? Had word not reached you?
She mentioned in letters that she felt unwell, but never did I expect it to be so grave. In a matter of days, she was gone. Every moment I spent protecting the people, she drew one step closer to death. And I left her to die. Her blood, too, stains my shield.
Sir Flanagan,
Forgive me. I did not mean to burden you with my woes. But you see now, my title is a curse.
It is a tragedy, yes. But I cannot bring myself to believe you cursed. And you mustn't believe so either.
Ja, mal sehen, was wir da sonst noch so erfahren. Aber er hat schon ein gutes Herz. Das hat man ja schon gesehen. In der Szene, wo er einfach vorgestellt wurde. Das hat durchaus Eindruck gemacht. Ja, so ein harter Soldat, ne, der sehr lange den Idealen und die Ideale geglaubt hat. Seines Königs hier. Und letztendlich, ja, ist er damit jetzt auch nicht glücklich. Über Maxwell haben wir auch noch ein bisschen Background. Huh? Der maskenlose Maxwell beschreitet einen neuen Weg. Er erzählt Hughette, was ihm seit dem Kampf auf der Weißholmbrücke widerfahren ist. Hughette ist jetzt recht viel beteiligter. Mit diesen eher ritterlichen Charakteren passt das auch ganz gut.
That you would return to us hale and whole. 'Tis a much-needed fortune in these trying times.
With luck, soon my return will not be the only cause for celebration. I am glad to see you unharmed, Hughette. I would choose none but you to stand by Prince Roland's side in my absence.
Thank you. However, I am afraid I have far to go before I can measure up to your legend. A legend that seems to have begun a new chapter, now that you have doffed that mask of yours. Forgive me for prying, but I must ask, why did you wear it for so long?
Truth be told, I have not thought upon those reasons for some time. When I served Glenbrook as its Master of Swords, I did not wear it.
You were Master of Swords? The Dawn Spear?
Indeed. My star was rising, and I was tasked with investigating a group of nobles who were dealing in stolen works of art. A simple assignment, or so I thought. I was yet young and unaware of the pettiness of those who consider themselves to be our betters. I apprehended several of the criminals, but one escaped. That was my grave mistake. In shadows, they harbored their grudges until they exacted their revenge. But the life they took was not mine. It was my love's, the woman.
What? I never knew.
The villain was eventually brought to justice, but no sentence could bring back what had been stolen from me. Had I only been more thorough and not been so naive, then she would still be.
Sir Maxwell, there is no way you could have known. The blame falls not on you.
Nay, my inexperience sowed the seeds, and I will reap their bitter fruit until the day I die. I swore I would never again allow someone I loved to come to harm. To ensure that, I had to discard who I was. I gave up my title as Master of Swords, hid my true face behind a mask. I spoke only with my spear.
And you were reborn as Glenbrook's fiercest warrior, the Dawn Spear. Your feat surpassed the imagination of even the most silver-tongued of bards. Forgive me. I still tend to get lost in the stories, even though you are standing here before me.
No, I should thank you. There are few who would understand my struggles, but I believe you are one. House Wolffort has seen its share of misfortunes. That you all still walk with your heads held high is an inspiration to all. I was brought back from the brink of death to fight by your side, to face the dangers ahead undaunted and unhidden. I may owe fate for my return, but I shall fight tooth and nail before it takes aught from me again. At least such are the things I tell myself in my quiet moments. I only pray the words can give me strength when it matters most.
They will. No doubt you are stronger now than you have ever been.
Thank you. I no longer need to hide in fear. I will not look away.
Ach, Maxwell, oh je. Fast jeder hat hier irgendwie eine tragische Geschichte. Eigentlich hoffe ich, dass es auch noch... Ja, wobei ich weiß nicht, wie viele Charaktere es theoretisch noch geben würde, die wir verpasst haben, weil wir uns irgendwie auf besondere Art und Weise entschieden haben. Aber es müsste auch ein paar einfach gestecktere Charaktere vielleicht noch geben. Es hat ja wirklich gefühlt fast jeder einen tragischen Background. Ich meine, in diese Welt passt das vielleicht ganz gut rein, ja, okay. Und ich bin auch immer mehr so ein Fan von tiefgründigeren Charakteren. Aber man muss es auch nicht überall übertreiben. Während jetzt natürlich hier beim Dawn Spear, das passt schon soweit. Ne, also generell mal so an den Cast dieses Spiels gerichtet. Weil wirklich jeder irgendwie einen tragischen Background hat. Und muss jetzt auch nicht unbedingt bei jedem Charakter sein zumindest, ne? So ein paar Ausnahmen darf es schon geben. Hey, guck mal hier, Frederica entschließt sich etwas Leckeres für Serenoa zu kochen. Doch nicht alles verläuft nach Plan. Das könnte ein witzigeres Gespräch vielleicht dann sein. Schauen wir mal. Warum überhaupt schon wieder kochen, meine Güte.
Do you have a moment, Geela?
Ich meine, ihr seid doch eh alle hier. Ich meine, ihr seid Teil einer Armee. Da gibt es bestimmt irgendeinen coolen Koch. Aber okay. Probier dein Glück, Frederica.
Oh, Frederica. Is something the matter?
Well, I invited Serenoa to have dinner with me tonight.
That's wonderful. Are you cooking for him?
I am. I've been practicing with the book you gave me. I was hoping to finally show him what I've learned.
Then allow me to help. What are you making?
A warm soup full of meatballs. A hearty, meaty, savory stew to tickle the tongue and sate the stomach. Or so the book describes it.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like quite a mouthful, in more ways than one.
The author is rather verbose, yes. Anyhow, I also want to make an appetizer. Might you be able to lend a hand?
Cooking is hardly my specialty, but say no more. I'd love to.
Keine Sorge, wenn der Magen verdorben ist, haben wir ja die Heilerin Geela gleich da. Alles gut. Gleich Magie. Oh, mein Magen. Heilzauber. Alles gut.
Oh dear.
This is disappointing, to say the least.
And we're almost out of time. Serenoa will be back any minute now.
Excuse me, Lady Frederica. Lord Serenoa has just sent word that he has been held up at a meeting. He says there is a chance he may not even return tonight.
I see. Thank you for letting me know.
It sounds like your dinner may get postponed.
A blessing in disguise. It gives us time to cook this again and do it right this time.
Lord Serenoa may not even return tonight.
But there is a chance he might. And I refuse to disappoint him. Would you help me, Geela?
Of course, Frederica. I shall do my very best to see this through with you.
I cannot thank you enough.
Das passt auch so gut. Beiden sind schon ganz cool. Haben auch eine witzige Dynamik, finde ich. Das passt einfach.
The vegetables are done, though they are a far cry from perfect.
The meatballs are ready too. Now all we have to do is stew them.
Frederica, I'm back.
Oh, welcome back.
It appears we've run out of time.
I was on my way here when something urgent came to my attention. I apologize for returning so late. I know we were supposed to have dinner tonight.
I am just happy you're here. Besides, I am the one who should apologize. I wanted to cook you a meal, but failed terribly on my first attempt, so it isn't yet ready. I'm sorry, Serenoa.
Das könnte er gleich mithelfen, das wäre ja auch ganz witzig.
Don't look so down, Frederica. I was delighted when you asked me to share a meal. Now that I'm back, why don't I help you with the food?
Oh, super.
Serenoa.
Das finde ich jetzt ganz cool, muss ich sagen. Netter Abschluss davon. Und hat's auch geschmeckt? Erfahren wir das noch? War's lecker? Oder nicht? Okay. Es geht weiter.
Thank you again for inviting me. I'm overjoyed we could spend this time together.
As am I. I enjoyed cooking with you as well.
The time we spend together is very precious to me. I regret that my duties have been keeping us apart lately. But when I noticed the sky was even more beautiful than ever this night,
Okay.
I hurried home, hoping we could gaze upon its beauty together.
It's strange. When I was in Esfrost, I would look up at the same sky. But it felt so much colder there. The stars seemed as if frozen. They did not twinkle the way they do now that I am with you, Serenoa.
Frederica, promise me that you will always stay by my side. I need you. Now more than ever.
Of course, Serenoa. I wish to gaze up at the same sky, sit beneath the same moon, and walk the same path you do. Together. Forever and always.
Oh, ist doch schön. Ja, es ist ein bisschen klischeehaft, aber es ist wirklich ein sehr schönes Gespräch gewesen. Es war auch ganz witzig aufbereitet, alles soweit. Mit diesem Kochen erstmal voller Fehlschlag, aber dann doch nochmal probiert und es wurde gut und Serenoa kam noch dazu. Haben sie einfach alle zusammen gekocht. Hatten bestimmt auch eine ganz gute Zeit, kann ich mir vorstellen. Doch zusammen kochen kann echt witzig sein, muss man sagen. Ich koche ja sehr gerne. Aber es ist schon lange her, dass ich wieder mal mit anderen Leuten zusammen gekocht habe. Das kann wirklich sehr witzig sein. Durchaus. Wir haben ja noch einige Gespräche vor uns auf jeden Fall. Aber ich habe jetzt gemeint, wir machen erstmal 3 Stück und dann machen wir ein bisschen Story weiter erstmal. Aber das mit Serenoa und Frederica ist ja auch ganz schön, muss man sagen. Ich meine, musst ja immer noch bedenken, das ist eine Zwangsheirat und so und eigentlich gar kein cooles Szenario. Ist wahrscheinlich wirklich eine große Erleichterung alleine, wenn man dann merkt, okay, na, der zugeordnete Partner ist auch entsprechend cool drauf. Aber gut. Serenoas Gruppe schließt sich mit Travis zusammen, um nach dem Schatz zu suchen. Jetzt bin ich mal sehr gespannt. Gibt es jetzt wirklich noch irgendeinen anderen Schatz? Das kommt mir so konstruiert vor, wisst ihr? Oh oh. Hat gerade die Capture Card gedacht, es wäre kein Bild da, aber alles gut.
So this book is gonna help us find the treasure.
That it will. We found it stuffed in the deepest, darkest recesses of the Esfrosti archives. My thieving senses tell me it'll lead us to something that'll make us all rich.
Esfrost's most confidential information is stored in the archives. There is definitely something of import in there.
Never thought I'd say this, but good steal.
It wasn't easy, but I had to. For Pa.
Hä, was? Das sollte da wahrscheinlich nicht stehen. Okay, gut.
Sadly, it's locked up tight and trust me, you won't be forcing that thing open. I tried.
I see. It's sealed with powerful magic.
Would we need another spell to counter the seal?
Warte mal, sie haben es nicht geöffnet. Wie zum Geier haben die jetzt die Information bekommen, dass sie hier überhaupt suchen müssen?
There's probably a key that can open it.
Habe ich irgendwas verpasst?
I had the same thought. It's probably nestled somewhere in this village.
Wie kommst du darauf?
What makes you say that?
Take a good look at the cover, and you'll see a map of Norzelia.
Ah, ach so, okay, wird erklärt, gut. Alles klar. Oh, cool! Das ist das Buch aus der, also die Collector's Edition, die ist ja so verpackt, ne? Ganz cool. Sieht genauso aus. Habe ich in der Vitrine stehen. Ja, witzig. Okay. Muss so sehr wichtig sein.
Indeed, there is. If this is the Norzelia River, then this must be the Wolffort domain.
Ach, so ist die zu verstehen, aha.
In which case those jewels are right on...
This village.
Exactly. We came here because we thought we'd find a way to open it.
Jerome, do you have any notion where it could be?
I've never seen a key that would fit in that sort of lock.
Are you sure it's not just coincidence?
It could be, but if it isn't...
Then the key is in this village.
Oh, ich habe eine Vermutung. Frederica hat doch ein Amulett. Das ist bestimmt der Schlüssel, oder?
And the treasure in this book must be related to the Rosaille.
Hey, 100 Pro.
And it may shed light on the nature of the salt crystal.
Then let's search the village.
Salt crystal? Care explaining?
In due time. First, we find the key. And when searching for lost things, a thief can be most useful. Can we count on your assistance, Drish?
Sure you can, Chief. It's what our lot do best.
Ja, ich glaube, das müsste auf jeden Fall in Zusammenhang stehen, weil sollte Frederica auch ursprünglich bekommen. Ich bin mir ziemlich sicher. dass das die Verbindung ist. Einige Stunden später.
We've scoured the village but have found nothing that resembles a key.
Wow, damals haben wir auch schon einen Schlüssel gesucht, ne? Das war ja so. Aber das war dann das Steinsalz, aber in dem Fall brauchen wir einen Schlüssel fürs Buch. Tja.
However, our search wasn't entirely fruitless. Trish told us an interesting story from when she stole the book. Share with the others, if you will.
The book seems to be titled The Diary of Orlaeas. Or, at least, that's what the stuffy-looking attendant said it was. Didn't mean much to me at the time, but...
Orlaeas? But that's...
Yes. My mother.
Das wäre jetzt super interessant, wenn die Rosaille eigentlich ein noch größeres Geheimnis hüten würden.
As you know, she led the uprising of the Rosaille and laid the foundations of this very village after escaping from the source. It was sometime after that she met my father, the former Archduke.
Frederica, if indeed it was your mother who penned this book, then I believe you may already have the key.
Of course! The thing we've been searching for has been around my neck this entire time.
Wusste ich's doch, das war so klar. Oh ja, das dürfte super spannend werden.
It opened. So this was my mother's book.
Pray, read it for us, Frederica.
This is a legend handed down by the Rosaille since times of old. It is the secret history of Norzelia.
Oh, ich bin so gespannt.
I, Orlaeas Rosaille, am recording the legend here as the last keeper of these histories.
Oh.
In ancient times, the Rosaille lived in Centralia, a land to the distant south of Norzelia. It sat on the shore of the sea, a source that extended to the horizon and beyond. It was said to be a paradise, a place where people never wanted for salt. The Rosaille knew more about salt than anyone, for it was a part of their everyday lives. In those days, Norzelia still rested at the bottom of the sea, but a cataclysm brought it to the surface, turning it into land. The sea dried up, and the small portion that remained is what we know today as the source. Eventually, many people migrated to the new land of Norzelia. They waged war over the source, wishing to get their hands on its precious salt. Our ancestors came to Norzelia in hopes of putting an end to the fighting. They knew that the salt still remained, even without the sea. It merely crystallized and sank deep into the earth. After all their searching, they unearthed a giant crystal. No, a very pillar of salt. They showed it to the people of Norzelia, told them that salt could be found beneath their very feet. However, those who had seized control over the source sought to reign over all of Norzelia by controlling the salt. They, the holy state of Hyzant, attacked and slaughtered the Rosaille. They hid the pillar, erased the existence of salt crystals, and imprisoned the surviving Rosaille at the source. Thus we were branded sinners, criminals who wanted sole dominion over the land's salt. To justify their own monopoly, Hyzant created the goddess's teachings. But she needed a villain. To this very day, the Rosaille are scorned, made to shed blood and tears, all in her name. But the goddess herself is proof of the Rosaillan legends. I saw it with my own eyes during the uprising. Inside of her statue is the pillar of salt that was taken from our ancestors. But I could not expose the truth of the goddess. It took everything I had just to get a fragment. But that piece is the key to freeing the Rosaille. It must be. For my brethren who continue to suffer for a crime they did not commit.
Orlaeas Tagebuch hinzugefügt. So ist es also. Die wahre Geschichte.
The Holy State's teachings are false. The goddess's blessing spread across all Norzelia. The blessing of the true goddess. The blessing that shall be the key to the chains that bind our people. The blessing my mother spoke of was the salt crystal.
And the false teachings referred to salt existing outside the source. It would be the key to ending Hyzant's monopoly on salt. This has the power to change Norzelia as we know it, but it is not something we can recklessly proclaim.
But I cannot forgive Hyzant. They rewrote history with their false doctrines and continue to oppress the Rosaille, all to maintain their power over salt.
We have the keys that can unlock the fetters that have bound us for so long. We need only find a way to use them.
We would need conclusive evidence. Right now, all we have is a salt crystal. We would not be able to prove that more salt lies beneath the earth, or even the truth of the goddess's statue.
I don't care how much time it takes. Can we not find out the truth?
House Wolffort is currently under the banner of Hyzant. We may be branded as rebels if the Holy State deems our actions as defiance of the goddess.
And so, history would repeat itself.
But my mother has given us a chance with this book. I cannot simply let it pass me by.
I understand how you feel, and the responsibility of House Wolffort to the Rosaille. Please give me some time to think, Frederica.
Of course. I believe in House Wolffort. And in you, Serenoa.
You deserve credit as well, Lady Frederica. You and your mother are the reasons we can wield this truth. You are a friend of the Rosaille, now and forever. Walk proud, with the knowledge that you have served your people well.
I shall. Thank you, Jerome.
There is none other I would trust to lead our people into the future. Where you go, we shall follow. Of that you have my word.
I shall count on it.
I think I follow you. These salt crystals, they're the treasure we're looking for?
Correct, and not a word to anyone of what's written in this book.
Mom's the word, promise. Guess that means you don't want any suspicious-looking fellows anywhere near this place. Now, I know we have haven't always seen eye to eye, but how'd you feel about leaving the protection of this village to Pa and the others? Decrepit as he is, he can still bust heads better than any rank-and-file troops. I can promise that much.
For what it's worth, I believe her. Her sort aren't known for lying.
As do I. Then I leave the protection of the village to Travis. I hope that's fine with you, Jerome.
The Rosaille treat all creeds fairly, so long as we are treated fairly and kind.
Thank you for your understanding. Well then, we should return to the capital. I would consult with Benedict and Roland on this new turn of events.
Wow, wirklich cool, was die da noch rausgeholt haben. Banditengalopp abgeschlossen. Das gefällt mir wirklich. Und vom Worldbuilding, das ergibt ja total Sinn, ne? Man fragt sich ja sowieso, ich meine, bei uns, klar, ne, das Salz aus dem Meer, selbstverständlich, aber hier hast du ja auch noch gar kein Meer gesehen. Aber wenn das hier früher mal ein Meer war und ist halt komplett ausgetrocknet, zack, hast du auf einmal ein wirklich schlüssiges Worldbuilding hier. Ne? Das gefällt mir, das ist wirklich cool. Da haben sie sich doch einiges an Mühe gemacht, das gut zu begründen soweit. Norsellia, Centralia, witzig. Was ja gerade kommt in Octopath, die Welt heißt Austerra, oder? Wenn ich gerade so drüber nachdenke. Könnte echt sein, dass das alles zusammenhängt. Ich meine, Elfric ist ja auch so ein Begriff, der eben in beiden Werken vorkommt, letztendlich. Wenn auch unterschiedlich assoziiert das Ganze, aber ja. Ist durchaus vorstellbar, dass das zusammenhängt, was? Machen wir direkt weiter. Haben noch ein bisschen Zeit, Leute. Aber hat sich sehr gut wieder weiterentwickelt. Da geht's nun zurück.
Roland, Benedict, and Frederica regroup back in the capital. But what they experienced while they were away could very well alter the course of destiny itself.
Okay. Kapitel 15, Akt 3, Schicksal, ja. Was hat das dann zu bedeuten? Ich meine, Aspros ist immer noch ein Problem erstmal, ne? Aber natürlich, das heißt dann so das ganz große Problem, was es schon immer gab.
What is so important you wish to speak to me alone?
Lord Serenoa, promise me you will remain calm. I come bearing grave news. Your Lord Father has passed.
Oh. Er hat erst noch die Message, dass es ihm gut geht. Was ist denn vorgefallen?
What? But how? I thought he was recovering.
It was not the illness that took him, my lord. He was assassinated.
Assassinated?
Forgive me. I was unable to stop the villain.
Who would send someone to kill my father? And why?
It was Patriot of the Royalists.
Oh, der Patriate, natürlich. Diese hinterhältige Schlange. Den schnappen wir uns noch.
He believes House Wolffort a hindrance to King Roland's rule.
Naja, wenn dann das nur noch eher übrig bleibt wahrscheinlich, ne?
No doubt, he meant to kill both you and your father in one fell swoop.
A hindrance? Pray tell me Roland was not involved in this plot.
Was? Wie kommst du überhaupt darauf, Serenoa? Was um alles in der Welt? Also, Entschuldigung, das finde ich jetzt unrealistisch, sehr unglaubwürdig für mich. Das gefällt mir wirklich nicht. Weißt du, das sind normal immer die Best Buddies hier, ne? Die sich immer gegenseitig vertrauen und so. Wie kann Serenoa das überhaupt in den Raum stellen? Das passt doch gar nicht, ganz im Ernst. Aber okay,
I can assure you His Majesty knew nothing of this. But disclosing the truth would put us in a precarious position. At worst, it could lead to civil war.
Ja, das brauchen wir jetzt garantiert nicht.
It is best you hide the fact of Lord Simon's assassination.
You want me to say he succumbed to his illness? How can I pay respect to my father with such lies on my lips?
My lord, your father entrusted me with one final order.
What did he say?
He asked me to tell you the truth.
The truth about what?
I ask you to listen calmly, my lord. You are not Lord Simon's son by blood. Your true father is King Regna.
Was? Was passiert hier? Oh mein Gott. Okay, erstmal erfahren wir so den richtigen Background, wie das hier alles mit Norzelia so war. Und mit dem Schicksal der Rosaille, das wird auf einmal sowas noch gedroppt. Okay.
His Majesty sired a child out of wedlock with the Lady Destra. That child is you. Lady Destra lived in the Crown City, but she was not a woman of means. Someone of her position could never hope to marry a king. Or indeed keep her head once the royalists discovered what had happened. Lord Simon knew this, and so he welcomed her and the baby in her belly to House Wolffort. He and I were the only two who knew her secret. We had intended to carry it with us to our graves. But in his last moment, Lord Simon bade me give this to you.
Was kriegen wir da? Oh. Okay, ja klar, das ergibt natürlich Sinn.
The royal signet of Glenbrook.
King Regna entrusted it, and you, to Lord Simon, as proof of your place in the royal line.
Is this truly who I am?
I know it may be difficult to accept.
No, I believe it. I have never known you to speak false to me. Thank you for telling me what my father wished me to know.
You would still call him father?
He raised me as his own. And besides, I must keep up the pretense in front of the others. Especially in front of Roland. This stays between us, Benedict. We must keep the truth of my parentage and this ring safe.
Of course, my lord. As you command.
Ah, Benedict ist wieder dabei. Sehr schön, okay. Das verkompliziert manche Dinge. Ja, auch spannend. Ha. Oh Mann, oh Mann. Was nun?
Is there something on your mind, Roland?
Serenoa, I do not know what I should do.
Did something happen in the capital?
No, that problem has been dealt with. I've made sure those damned royalists will never cause trouble again.
Okay, das ist zumindest gut.
Was such harsh punishment truly necessary?
Of course it was. When they should have been helping to rebuild the kingdom, they instead profited off the people's hardship.
Er hat ja recht, außer wir kennen jetzt zur Maxwell Story, ne? Der hat damals einen am Leben gelassen und das war sein größter Fehler. Die sind halt so knallhart. Was willst du da machen, ne? Bei diesen Zuständen.
And on top of that, they sought to string me up as their puppet king.
Ja, das kann ich verstehen. So ticken die.
I understand, but...
You know what they told me? They said that is what Glenbrook truly is. That it must be ruled with the royalists' careful mediation between the royal family and their loyal subjects. They said good kings need not think for themselves. They said my father and my brother understood that.
Even if that is true, you have the power to change it.
I tried. That is the entire reason I took the throne. But nothing has changed, no matter how many corrupt aristocrats I've cast out. This kingdom has always been broken. As Frost's invasion just ensured we could never put the pieces back together. I do not have the strength to reconcile a land and people torn apart by hatred and greed. I cannot give Glenbrook what it needs, king though I may be.
Roland.
Apologies, my friend. I should not burden you with my woes.
You burden me with nothing. But if you are struggling...
All is well. Trust me. So long as you are by my side.
Ja, er vertraut uns voll und ganz. Ich verzeihe Serenoa immer noch nicht so ganz, dass er es einfach vorhin in den Raum gestellt hat. So, ob er daran mit beteiligt sein könnte oder so, oder davon gewusst hätte, weißt. Also, nee, Entschuldigung. No go.
That is the extent of what happened during our various endeavors. The passing of my Lord Father, the Royalist scandal, and the book that revealed the truth about the Roselle and the Salt. It is time we consider what we shall do to overcome these obstacles facing us.
I still cannot believe how quickly Lord Simon's condition worsened.
It is most devastating. Serenoa, did your father say nothing else to you? Before...
He bade me lead House Wolffort well.
I see. Then we must all do what we can to help you honor that request.
Your Majesty, what do you plan to do about the Royalists who misappropriated supplies?
As far as I've been able to discern, those involved acted out of greed and self-interest. They must all be punished. Nothing less than exile from the kingdom or execution will suffice.
But there are those among them who support the Glenbrook line. Will that not impact your governance?
Perhaps. But to pardon their crimes would kindle the people's ire. We must make an example of them. To appease the people. To make clear the consequences of engaging in such foolhardy behavior.
Ja, muss aufpassen, dass er sich da nicht zu sehr reinsteigert, ne? Nicht, dass der jetzt paranoid wird. Ich meine, man kennt ja viele Herrscher unserer Geschichte, wo genau das vorgefallen ist und die irgendwann einfach so ziemlich jeden aus dem Weg geräumt haben. Wo es dann eben nicht mehr darum ging, einfach nur um Gerechtigkeit. Und das gefällt mir nicht, die Entwicklung. Nicht, dass er sich zum Tyrann jetzt entwickelt hier.
Did something else happen in the capital, King Roland?
Nothing you need concern yourself with.
Ja, ich weiß nicht. Ich glaube schon, dass da noch mehr dahinter steckt. Das wäre jetzt interessant gewesen, wenn wir vielleicht doch bei ihm mitgestimmt hätten, ne?
I must say, I was shocked to learn of that Rosellan legend. Do you suppose the contents of that book could be true?
The part about their homeland, Centralia, that sits upon a vast saltwater sea? That of the untapped salt crystals beneath Norzelia? Or that, in order to monopolize the salt trade, Hyzant fabricated the Roselle's sins?
Klingt echt wie eine riesige Verschwörungstheorie, was, aber naja.
That the pillar of salt Hyzant stole from the Roselle is hidden within the statue of the goddess? If any of it is true, it would turn everything we know on its head. It would mean the teachings of the Holy State are not but lies.
Aber das wissen wir ja doch sowieso schon, weil wir doch einen Salzkristall haben. No?
It does sound unbelievable, but we have already seen part of this legend for ourselves.
The crystal from the Rosellan village?
That crystal is a fragment from the pillar within the statue of the goddess. One my mother obtained during the uprising.
It fits perfectly.
Apparently, Lady Orlaeas penned the book detailing the legend for Frederica.
She did. She enchanted it so no one could open it, but left me the key to break the spell. This pendant.
I doubt a mother would go to such lengths to lie to her daughter.
Then we agree the legend contains at least a seed of truth.
Your Majesty, We have received word that the survivors of the Duchy's army are amassing.
What? Where?
At the Grand Norzellian mines. But we cannot be sure what they are doing. None of our scouts have returned.
Those frosty dogs. We will speak later, Serenoa. First, we must put down whatever the Duchy is planning at the mines. I need you and your people beside me.
Of course. We shall ready ourselves for the battle at once.
Ja, natürlich, jetzt legen die wieder los, ne? Ja, gut. Musste ja auch sein, früher oder später. War ja klar. Dass sich jetzt dort sammeln, finde ich ganz interessant. Ich könnte mir vorstellen, dass sie das einfach nutzen, um mal direkt schnell die Vorräte aufzufüllen, oder? Wir werden ja viel Salz wahrscheinlich brauchen für ihre neue, schicke Waffe.
Extraction is nearly finished. We've secured the amount we were told.
Oh, das ist hier ganz schön geändert, ja? Mit diesen ganzen Loren.
Seems such a waste to just leave the rest.
Don't think Archduke Gustadolf gives two shites. Hurry it up. We need to be done here before Glenbrook catches on to us.
Sir.
Okay. Schicksal abgeschlossen. Oh, so viele Entwicklungen. Oh mein Gott. Ja, okay, wir haben immer noch sehr viele Gespräche übrig, aber die machen wir dann wohl doch beim nächsten Mal. Wow, okay. Ja, interessant, interessant, okay. Doch, die Story entwickelt sich immer noch spannend weiter. Ja, das Niveau wird wirklich gesteigert, gerade kontinuierlich. Das gefällt mir, das sind immer die guten Stories. Wenn du einfach so merkst, es geht so richtig der Spannungsbogen dann so nach oben, ne? Das ist dann immer schön. Dann gucken wir mal, womit das Ganze endet letztendlich, ja? Also, jetzt erstmal gegen Astfrost und dann, was machen wir mit Highsand? Irgendwas muss ja passieren. Oh, ich kann mir gar nicht vorstellen, wie es ausgeht, wirklich. Es könnte so viel noch möglich sein, theoretisch. Das macht es so spannend. Ich kann wirklich überhaupt nicht vorhersagen, irgendwie, was passieren könnte. Bei manchen Spielen geht das ja ganz gut. Aber hier, keine Ahnung. Finden wir es raus, oder? Ihr seid sicherlich auch gespannt mit dabei, nehme ich mal an. Ist ja wirklich cool, wie sich das entwickelt. Also das freut mich. Wird einfach besser und besser. Lässt nicht nach. Sehr gut. Oh, wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal. Oh, ich freue mich einfach total. Mega bisher. Echt super.